Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to learn the very basic things that you need to know to be able to start developing websites. You can create a website in WordPress. You can create a website using Wix. But what if you want to develop something by yourself from scratch so that you can also learn how these websites were developed initially? So this lesson is going to give you the very basic steps that you can start with, and it's going to start from scratch. You don't need to know anything to be able to follow these lessons. You only need to know how to type in your computer and how to install software. I'm going to, of course, guide you on the software that you need to install to start programming. We are going to use Visual Studio Code as our code editor. So to get Visual Studio Code, we go to Visual Studio Code website and download for the platform that you are using, either Windows, Mac or Linux. Here, after installation, you'll get something like this. So this is the Visual Studio Code after installation. So let's go to File, Open Folder. I had created this folder for this project, so I'm going to select it so that I can open it. If you go to Terminal, New Terminal, you will see that this is the URL that points to our directory, or the directory that you are working on. So when you are still here, let's create a file and call it index.php. We are going to create a folder and call it static. Then inside this folder, we are going to add, we can actually open it. We are going to add styles .css file, and another file that you are going to call the same folder, main.js for JavaScript. So we'll have this for our JavaScript code and this for our styles. The style.css will have the design that we want for our website. I'm going to copy some boiler template code for index.php. This is the HTML code that we are going to use for this particular project, and it's just a template that you can always use this for all your website. So if we have another page here, let's say we call it now this one we are creating next to this, we call it about.php, which will have the content that explain what our website is all about. I'm going to paste the same. Then here we can say about this website, because this is the title, and we can keep the description here as about, make the description to be about website. The other things we can leave them the same. So the styles will be the same and the JavaScript code will be the same. To make it clear, I can just put a h1 tag here and say this is about page, so that we can differentiate the pages. If you want to put text, you do put P, which means this is a paragraph. This is the about page, so you will put anything to do with about here. And if you come to index, you can do the same. So inside the body, we can put h1, we can call it home page, and then paragraph, this is our home page. I'm doing something very simple because this is for demonstration purposes, so we are not going to do it to make it so complex, because the objective here is to understand the process of creating the first website until you host it. Let's go here, copy this to the browser here and enter then we can run this. So you can see this is our home page, which shows this is our first website. For now, this is perfect, but as it is, it cannot run PHP because we have not installed PHP, so it's able to run HTML. For PHP, we need a PHP server. Anytime you want to do PHP code, let's say we want to do a paragraph here and you want to use PHP code inside here, you put the PHP tag and then you can write PHP code here, like echo is the second paragraph of our home page. That's perfect. Now, as at that point, we are able to do our HTML and PHP. If you are to go to our desktop and copy this URL and run this page, so index.php, you see it cannot output PHP code yet because we don't have any PHP server installed, but as you can see, it's able to show the home page and the home page. This is H1 and this is the first paragraph, but for the other paragraph, which is this one, where is it? This one, because it requires PHP server, we cannot be able to run it. So that is why we need PHP. So HTML runs on the browser. The browser is the Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Brave, and all that. But the server is now where we put our files. I have not installed WAMP on my computer, but since we are hosting this website, the final website on Heroku, you're just going to do it remotely, so you may not see exactly what a server looks like. So what we can do next is to do the style, and to do the style, you come up with the names that you want to give your styles. Let's say we come to index.php and we can say body. Let's give it a class equals, we can give it any name, but let me call it just main and save. If I come to, if you look at it now, it's still this way. So if I come to CSS, because I've used class, I need to put a dot, main, then you open curly braces, a dot stands for class. You can also put a hash, let's say hash. You can even give it a name like text. So when you put a hash, this means ID. So this is class and this is ID. For now, let's work with these two. As you learn more, you will be able to know the other ones that you can use for this particular purpose. So when you're using JavaScript, you can get document.getElement by ID. So which is this? This is the ID. By class will be this. Then there will be by tag, by name, all that. But for now, we are not going to dig so much into JavaScript. We are going to only look at CSS, main, and all that. So we can give it a background. You can put an image if you have an image, but you need to put the image here so that it can also be uploaded with the website. Let's look for a color like, which color? Yellow green, just for you to see it's working. H1 ID equals text. ID equals text. So when you come here and do background color equals, let's say even teal, and save. There's a problem here. As you can see, we put these files into .static/css, and the same thing, we go out, then static, then script. That is what was missing. because you have to get to the directory. If you close this, you see we are outside, so we need to get inside static and then that file that we are referring to. Now if you come here and refresh, we should be able to see that our pages are taking the colors that we are developing. You can make like margin top, you put it 0px, save, refresh, this is 0px. Also you can put margin for the body to 0. When you put just margin, it means the whole round will be 0, not just any point. You see we have a nice navigation bar already for this. Maybe we can make it instead of this color, we can make it like black color, we can make it white. That will be the text color. So if you refresh, nice background of black and color is white. I just wanted to give you an idea of how we can make a website. Maybe what I can do to make it complete is to come to JavaScript alert. JavaScript has been loaded. This is just a very simple code to show that the JavaScript code is working. Console.log hello world. This is not working. Let's go to inspect element console. So script is not loading for whatever reason. Indexed, you see this is not called script, this is called, in our code here, this is main.js. that is why it was not working. But if you refresh here now, you see JavaScript has been loaded. Okay, then it logs console world here. So this is a very simple way of creating a website to show you where you start, because without knowing how it works, you cannot be able to appreciate how things are done. We're going to use Heroku as our main hosting. So let's start by going to heroku.com, then you go to documentation, then you go down here, you'll find the Heroku CLI. So we download and install. It requires Git, the popular version control system. If you don't already have Git installed, complete the following before installing the CLI. So first we install Git. So we are going to download the version for our Windows, because we are using Windows. My window is 64-bit, so this should work for me. Let's give it a few seconds to download. The installation is complete, so I'm going to double click to open it. Next, leave the defaults as they are. Next, so it's going to detect what you use for editing, but this one is taking Visual Studio Code because it's what I have on my computer. So we are not going to use git bash only, we are also going to use the command line for our Windows. Use SSL, open cell, leave that as default. Even that one, leave it as it is. File caching, credential manager, all those, leave them as they are. Then you install. Give it some time to install. It's going to take some time to install, and then you will get this window. So I'm not going to launch it, and I'm not going to see the release file. So I'm just going to click on finish. After this, we need to come to where we started, and we're going to download and install Heroku for Windows 64 bits. Save the file, give it some time to download, open the file, to install it. So you double click on that to open it. We are going to leave the defaults, then we click next and install this program in the program files in a folder called Heroku. Then we start the installation process. This is going to take some time. The installation is now complete, so we are going to close this window. The next thing you need to do, you need to go to Heroku, create an account, and then log in. When you log in, you will have a personal space here. You will not have all the apps that I have here. So you will have a space, so you need to create a new app. Create new app. We are going to call this core script. We can leave this to United States. Leave this as default, then create the app. So after this, we are going to follow these instructions here. Because now we have Visual Studio Code, we are not going to use Windows command prompt any longer. So we are going to use this terminal here on Visual Studio Code. So to open it, we need to go to terminal, new terminal, and if you check here, you can see, and you can see it's still pointing to the same directory that you are working from. But in this case, we need to get one level down. So cd core script, and now we are inside this directory. While inside this directory, now we can continue with the next steps in our project. Now we are ready to host our website. The very first thing that we have to do is to log in to Heroku. So Heroku, login, then enter. It's going to ask us to press any key to continue. Let me press and wait for a browser to open. So let's log in to Heroku, and now our terminal is connected for access to Heroku. When you're still here, let's go to git init. So we need to initialize this as a git project. I know I have another file hosted in the same directory called index.php. Allow me to rename this and call it home. But the first file should always be index.php because the server will look for a file called index.php. So for instance, this one will not load because we don't have index.php, but let's leave it for now. I'm doing this because I'm sharing the same folder with another project and I don't want to delete it because it's being referenced in another lesson. And there's a maximum number of apps that you can create in Heroku, which are 5, and I've already created 5 apps, so I don't want to delete it and create a new one just because of this particular purpose. So we're going to use Heroku git clone, the project that you're working from, and this is the folder that has been created for us. I have 2 files. One is called index and the other one is called USSD, which I'm using for a different project. So I don't want to delete them because they are still being accessed. I had not seen this while I was starting the project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these 4 files inside here. So move about. I don't know the name you gave to your project, your app, the name of your app. Make sure you put these files inside there, which means we also need to put our static file there with whatever it contains, which is main.js and styles.js. As it is now, if you go to this URL that we were testing with, it's not going to work. So what we can do is to first cd core script. When you are here, we need to do git add dot. The next thing is commit our changes. So git commit -am make it better. Enter. So the files have been added, and then after this is git push Heroku master, so that now we can send our files to our hosting server. As you can see, our app has been deployed. So this is the URL of our app, so we are going to copy it. But remember, we changed from index to main. Main had, the other one had other things, so we did that. So we are going to paste our URL here, then we put main.php. JavaScript is now working. This is our home page. PHP is also working. This is the second paragraph of our home page, which is PHP echo. PHP, this code is being echoed through PHP, while this is HTML and this is HTML. That is how you host a simple website in Heroku. First, you create an app in Heroku. Second, you clone that file in your directory that you are working from. Third, you initialize Git with git init. Then you work on the project that you are working on. In this case, we created the about page, the main page, and we also created our CSS file and style files for the project. Then after that, you commit the changes and upload. I'm sure up to that level you are now good. You can be able to create a simple website that uses CSS, JavaScript, HTML, and PHP, and host it in Heroku. In case this video was not so clear to you, let me know in the comments so that I can clarify the sections that are not clear.